Go ahead.
All right, let's be real right now. How many of you students out there have been really stressed out because of a test, paper, quiz, anything like that? Most of you? Yeah, I figured. So, and how many of you have felt satisfied after like studying and getting a good grade, or maybe even getting a bad grade, but that wouldn't really be satisfied, but how many of you have been satisfied afterwards? Anyone? Elena? Cool. I bet all of you have put in a lot of hard work and effort into all of your assignments. Well, at least most of us have. And you feel mostly satisfied with what you have come out with, but we're TCA kids, so we always think that we can do better, so we always do better. See, joy and happiness is not just given to anyone freely. You have to go through physical, emotional, and mental hard work, along with quite a few other things that we have to do to get what we want. And if you come out the other side with all that effort and hard work, you feel satisfied with what you did, and that is what I think is the good life. As I stated before, there are 3 different ways of hard work. The first one is emotional hard work. You're probably asking me like, how can we go through like emotional hard work and still come out the other side satisfied with what happened? Well, I'll tell you. For example, our friend Alyosha Krumzov went through a ton of hard work through his life. And his life started out pretty bad. His dad, Fyodor, married his mom, Alyosha's mom, but then completely abandoned them, leaving them with dang near nothing. And it's pretty bad. And not too long in the future, Alyosha was taken from his mom. Some people that go through that kind of hard work, or go through that emotional hard work, would just completely shut down and try and find someone else to blame for what has happened in their life. But not Alyosha. He was able to keep all of his emotions in check and forgive those who did him wrong. And yes, Alyosha was a religious man, so that was kind of a little bit of a cushion for what he did, but and Alyosha made the choice of being a religious man so that he could have that cushion to help to forgive all those who did him wrong, and that made him feel good inside. A bad example of keeping their emotional hard work in check would be Alyosha's brother, Dmitry. Dmitry went through a pretty similar life. Fyodor married his mom, had Dmitry, and then abandoned them. But Dmitry took it in the complete opposite way that Alyosha did. He completely blamed him, and all Dmitry really wanted was Fyodor's money for himself. He cursed his dad, and that honestly sent him down a bad path to being able to be blamed, because everyone knew that he hated his dad, and he was able to be blamed for the murder of his dad when Smerdyakov killed him. See, I believe that everyone has the ability to keep their emotional hard work in check, but some of us can do it better than others. Those who keep their emotions in check and are able to like be happy with what they have, and know when they go through like emotional times and they come out the other side and they're happy with what they have, that's how you live the good life. And on my second point is physical hard work. I'm sure most of you know what physical hard work is. It's like going to the gym, working hard, and coming out with a shredded bod. It's pretty fun. So I'll just jump straight to the point. Some say some would say that even hard workers do not always live the good life, such as Guy Montag from Fahrenheit 451. Montag was a very hardworking man as a firefighter in his little town, but he didn't really live a good life. He wanted to learn new things and learn and be able to be more knowledgeable, but that's later on down the road. You all have read The Little Prince, so I don't really have to ask that question. For all of you, for those of you who have read it, the next character you all love. The main character of The Little Prince is a little kid known as the Petit Prince, or the Prince. The Prince in the beginning of the book. The Prince's life is pretty good. He has his own little planet. He keeps his little volcanoes from erupting and all that fun stuff. And then he works pretty hard to keep his little planet in its good little neat condition. And then the Rose planted herself on his planet, and she bloomed, and the little prince didn't really know what he was doing, and he felt this emotion that he didn't know, so he left and went through all this hard work from going planet to planet to planet, trying to find out what this meant, find himself a friend, and then he came to Earth to meet the pilot, which is our other main character, who is narrating this, the Little Prince. And then the Little Prince figures out what this emotion was, and he had to leave the Earth, and he went home, we think, and he lived a good life with his little Rose. Those who enjoy what they do in life with their physical hard work, through working out, and find joy in what comes out from joy and happiness from what they do with their physical hard work. That is another way of how I think living a great life is. How many of you think that you think way too hard?
Weights? Like weights and conditioning class?
Think.
Oh.
Think too hard.
Oh.
No?
I just don't do it. Yeah, I'll get behind that.
And thinking too hard can be bad for you, but thinking pretty hard is not exactly a bad thing. That's thinking hard is what I call mental hard work. Thinking hard can help you in many aspects of your life, such as, in my case, trying to diagnose a car or vehicle to figure out what's wrong with it and being able to fix it and find the cheapest option for my customers. Or another example is thinking of how you can get a 10-page paper senior thesis done in 3 hours, which is probably what I'm going to have to do because I haven't started. But let's get into the literary aspects of this. Guy Montag, as I said earlier, he went through a lot of mental hard work. And throughout his life, it was just a straight routine: get up, go to work, go home, go to sleep, get up, go to work. And then eventually he broke this routine when he found his first book and read it. And one of the parts in the book, he was on this train trying to memorize and keep the knowledge of the Bible in his brain, but there was this ad that just kept playing over and over and over again that was making it very difficult for him to think of what he was trying to do. And he just had to keep trying, and eventually he was able to do it.
Pause for hot sec. Alright.
Okay. And at the end of the book, when Montag's talent has been blown up because of what he did, he found this group of people who had the same dreams and goals as him of memorizing books, and once the world was ready again to take what they have in their brains and put it all back out, and Montag felt at home and he felt happy because he wasn't the only one out there. In life, there are things and people who test our mental strength, but with the help of friends and teachers, we can get through anything that we set our minds to. Just like this speech that I'm saying right now. If I didn't have help from Mr. Drake from proofreading it earlier, and Mr. Loos and Ms. Heineman, they all helped me throughout my life. They have all strengthened me, and I thank every single one of them for being here for all, as Mr. Drake, for all 4 years, Mr. Loos from freshman year to this year, helping me with English, rhetoric, and all that fun stuff, and Ms. Heineman for being such a great teacher and giving me so much leniency on all the stuff that I decided to have procrastinate and not being able to turn in on time. So mental, physical, and emotional hard work is honestly one of the 3 key aspects of what I think you will have to go through to be able to live a good life.